2 days ago, JACQUEMUS premiered his Fashion Month collection, Les PALMIER, and it was a party in the south of France. I seriously enjoyed his work this collection, and I think it's made me come to understand what this whole French effortless chic thing is a lot more. We've also got a lot of new music from the likes of BABYSTAYDOwn, Young EMAN, and SUMMRS that I wanted to create some discourse around. My name's Aaron Mason, aka Trashback Boy, and I cover fashion and underground rap nearly every day. If you enjoy stuff like this alongside the meme slideshow edits I be making, then drop a sub, it'd mean a lot. But let's get right into it. Now, if you don't know who JACQUEMUS is, then I'll give you a quick rundown and we'll go over the show notes together so we can judge the collection and his work fairly. He started off with women's wear and accessories, opening his line in 2009 at only the age of 19 in dedication to his late mother, whose maiden name was JACQUEMUS, and South French culture, or really just French culture in general. Later, a finalist for the LVMH Young Designers Award in 2014, and actually receiving an LVMH Jewelry Award a year later, also recognized by the King of Rome herself, Ray Kawakubo, just 2 years after he launched his label, and was offered a sales associate's job at the Paris store for Comme des Garçons, before getting to list his work in Dover Street Market later that year. He quotes his time with Comme as his last years of school, where he learned some couture techniques under Ray's wing and had gotten to understand the business of fashion a lot more. JACQUEMUS is literally the south of France concentrated into a brand. I want you to imagine a young South French boy that was obsessed with Instagram and fashion that just ended up having a brand. From the way his marketing is done on Insta, like this very elaborate world building that we can see on his page, how good he is at relating French artisanal skill to the brand, having these behind the scenes videos from baking bread, to moving on to the behind the scenes videos of making a runway dress with the same kind of angles and shots like a grandma or mom showing you how to cook your favorite part of the dinner, to the colors he chooses to work with being mostly French flag colors and black, which is a lot more widespread of a color choice in Parisian dress, down to even France itself being the inspiration for his collections. JACQUEMUS is South France. Let's get into the Women's Wear Daily show notes on the brand, the words he gave about the show, and a dive into the narrative and inspiration. So Women's Wear Daily starts off noting the collection name Les Palmiers, which relates to this hairstyling we see on a lot of the models that was inspired by palm trees and also doubled as a sort of invite or get-in tool when it comes to Parisian parties of the 80s. Now, when commencing research on France in the 80s and French nightlife, I saw this amalgamation of punk, high fashion, big clubs, and what I believe to be a continuing off of France's nightlife movement in the 60s, which was inspired by American rock, upbeat British music, and some jazz music, most notably spawning artists like Francois Hardy and France Gall, who I didn't know arose from this movement. Later, the go-go movement in the mid-60s, I think around 1964, started, coined by the word agogo, or the term agogo in French, meaning in abundance of, and this bar called Whiskey A Go-Go, translating to we got a lot of whiskey. Now, we see nearly 3 decades of serious nightlife culture in France turning into this artistic melting pot with punks, drag queens, jazz artists, high fashion, exclusive clubs, and all this folding into one big youth-forward movement, which did also make pinpointing the inspirations a bit hard, but it's also later explained in the interview. And if anyone's out there with a concise and more layered understanding of the French nightlife timeline, please put it down in the comments. I'd love to see what I missed. And if you guys want a longer form research doc on the French scene from the 60s to the 80s, let me know. I'd love to try and tackle this. Now, continuing forward with the Women's Wear Daily interview, JACQUEMUS quotes, "The message was to do something fun. It's a bit my obsession this year. I want everyone to have fun, not take ourselves too seriously," which I personally feel he not only did somewhat well, but is an important stance to take in current times. To continue this thought, I want to first bring up this idea of globalization, especially in the relation of sharing news and culture and how this affects the people. Television becoming mainstream during the 60s within the US and UK, which included Europe at the time, I assume has to play a big role in the cultural explosions that followed the decades to come across the world. Alongside the historical human tendency to follow periods of war or serious stress with great art. But to bring this forward to today, I wanted to talk about the ease of access we Gen Z have to global news and culture, and how us being born into turbulent times has caused global views to be at times quite anxiety inducing, especially when these headlines are spun negatively for more engagement by all media platforms. These things require serious attention until you end up feeling drowned in negativity, to which you stop looking and you start focusing your energy elsewhere on a consistent basis. To then having JACQUEMUS reference a time of multiple forms of artistic expression coexisting in a healthy manner kind of balances the yin-yang that's held in what I believe to be the mind of most right now, which is I either focus on myself in the art or I focus on the world and the news. And the last show I reviewed being Rick Owens Tower, he took the latter and decided to create a spectacle around police enforcement, which allows for him to talk about these real world issues. Getting someone who will create a show around an artistic period of time that can offer just as layered of a conversation to the public literally creates balance in any fashion enjoyer or newcomer's conversation when discussing the shows during Fashion Month. So just something that I had felt to share while looking at the lineup of shows I've reviewed so far. Lastly, from the Women's Wear Daily interview, I wanted to talk about the brand's new ambassador being Simone JACQUEMUS' grandma. Literally while writing the script, I came to find out about this. So earlier on, my feeling about the ads kind of being around the essence of grandma showing you how to do something was probably right, which is hard. She's also swagged the fuck out, I cannot lie. But now we're going to review the looks and the show because I enjoyed it quite a lot. Now it's time to go over the collection. It's over 60 looks long, so we'll do best looks per batch and whatever's eye-catching, as designers often use this many looks just to show off colorways and not distinct stylings or pieces. Starting with look 1, we immediately get this attention to cut and detail, asymmetric neckline and front connection, alongside this really rounded bottom cut for the jacket. The sleeves also having this 3/4 length and not being a full sleeve. And before talking about the pencil ruffled skirt, I wanted to go to the footwear because she has these mixed match shoes on, which seems to be a staple in the rest of the collection. I tried finding where this came from or what the reference of for it could be, but I couldn't find any tail ends, though I do like it. When done right, it actually looks quite cool. I personally enjoy the skirt. I do enjoy it more without the ruffles, but that may be too minimal in regards to the narrative that he was going for. The material choice on the jacket and skirt made this feel so sculptural. I'm gonna have to do some digging on what the combination of outer and inner facing fabrics are, if any facing fabrics honestly. Moving on to look 2, we're going straight to the feet. These thin feet is nice, I can't lie, and the pants effect is done well here. This type of pant styling usually just looks hilarious to me, like a cartoonish ninja, but here it fits. Going up, we see this bag. I'm gonna have to get a better look at the bag from like the beauty pictures because I can't quite make out what the detail is there on the side of it, but this jacket with the high-waisted pant combo is really nice. Continuing the structural technique he has, I'd like to add I do enjoy the wrist detail and the chest pocket on this jacket. When I first was reading up on JACQUEMUS, they kept saying deconstructed. I was too used to the literalness of it, but I'm seeing it now in the clothes. They do look and feel a bit raw. No serious arm cuff or neck collars, but there's still something there to enjoy. Often him creating shapes in these areas in replacement for an outright detail, and I'm enjoying it. In look 3, we get a colorway of look 1, albeit nice. There isn't much to say on the clothing end. The hat though piqued my interest quite heavily. I went on a hunt to find out where this style of hats originated from, as I've seen this in the Balenciaga couture collection as well. I was able to find early pictures of it from 1912 coming from couture houses as autumn hats for the wealthy. While learning this, I also wanted to see what the source was being cited for it was, and it was this late 19th to early 20th century magazine called the Deli Neater. Pretty insane find, I cannot lie. I couldn't find farther back tail end for these styled hats though. I'd end up finding tricorn hats from the 17th and 18th century, but those are not really the same at all. I really like these hats though. In look 4, it was pretty much nudity with the underlayer. I don't have much to say here. Look 5, the skirt with ruffles that have the big black underlayer is beautiful, very complex. I like JACQUEMUS' work of being very complex, and once couture things down to his ready-to-wear collections, it's in itself a form of subversion and public appreciation in my eyes. The belt here looks quite nice as well. Mixed match shoes here hitting the note again. Look 6, we get this all black look. It's been a lot of black so far, very Parisian in that sense. It seemed like a recolor of look 2, but I do enjoy it. I feel like here's a good spot to make sense of the French effortless chic dialogue that we see surrounding a lot of French people in the way they dress. That French effortless chic refers to how a French person does not need to do a lot of styling or use a lot of motifs or even pieces at all to make the outfit look complex, layered, and good. Hence the word effortless. When we look at JACQUEMUS and what's going on with the clothes, we see instead of there being something on top of the clothes or the models having this complex styling to show fashionable prowess, it's there being a conscious decision at every point in the clothes construction that ends with this lump sum of good choices within a jacket as opposed to it on the side or on top of the jacket itself. The attention to detail and structure, as opposed to literally even the use of color or small motif ensembles, creates an easy self-styling for the user on the other end. We're literally seeing couture shape building techniques being brought down to ready-to-wear jackets inch by inch. So that's why, like, oftentimes when we see a French person, like, all they really need is an overcoat and shoes to look stylish, because at every point in the clothes construction, there's a decision being made on its look and how it adds up to the entirety of the piece. The lapels of the coat will have a distinct cut or shape. The wrist cuffs will have their own cut or shape. The waist closing will have its own thing going on. The collar, the toe of the shoe will have its own reason for being, just as much of the heel, and it'll have an interaction at the ankle. Yeah, this is all baked into all of their pieces of construction, and this is just for the ready to wear, not even hot couture or some shit. Hot couture, haute couture, I don't know. This is why it doesn't take much actual clothing or even styling for a fully French fit to be stylish. There was already 1,000 decisions made just for each piece of the fit. But that's my rant on this whole idea of effortless chic. The effort is majorly on the designer side to have each piece be whole, and the people of France really only need 2 or 3 pieces to make a fit look good, because there's a bunch of couture decisions made in each piece as well. This can serve as good advice for any designer as well. The devil is in the details, and every time you turn a point within the piece's construction into a conscious stylish decision, you make wearing the piece just that much easier on the user's end. And taking from old couture techniques, then resizing or rematerializing them to a modern palette is kind of a cheat code for making inherently good clothes. At least I believe. This genuinely made what Balenciaga is today. Now, getting into look 6, I get to see my favorite motif of the collection being this flying tie motif. This, I can't tell you how they did it. I'm still trying to figure it out, as in the runway video, it seemed like it was staying still on its own. But anyways, it gives this I'm running to the doors of a party closing, or like I'm running to catch a cab to not miss the party, accentuated by this very thick shawl color suit, which was inspired by the Persians, I believe, and their laid back form of dress. This style is like aggressively civilian in relation to other suit lapels and where they're found in fashion. Look 8, I love that the grandma is getting in on the action here. The fit is modest, the shoes is fire, 2 opposing straps coming together to make this open toe effect very, very nice. Look 9 here, am I tripping, or don't this look like Jason the Wing's girlfriend, chat? Now the collar, we're seeing it again, the shape, but also has this black lining popping off the collar as well. Literally, like I said guys, just a long coat and shoes here. The coat has this frayed edge thing going on at the bottom as well. It seems like there's an outward shape being created at the hip, but that may just be the model's hands and pockets, honestly. Look 10 and 11 are just colorways really. Look 12 though made me appreciate the modeling choice a lot more. We got dark skin representation, brown boys getting lit in the cut, and he isn't overly reliant on a thin frame to communicate beauty. Old, young, and a bit more broad or a bit slender, the clothing is finding a place on everybody. 13 was cool. 14 really caught my eyes though. I'd love to see something like this downsized a bit more. Or maybe I'll make a button up that mirrors this of some sorts in Clo 3D to see how it can happen. I feel like this type of shape creation on a smaller scale would make for some really insane ready to wear, but the look itself is nice. Look 15 confirms it's not the model's hand, it really is the cut of the skirt. I wonder what happens to the cuts when one sits down. How do these shapes hold up in real activewear is what I really wonder. Look 16 is literal eye candy. I saw this and was wowed by the color palette. It's layering very nicely. The jacket, it almost looks like a hotel doorman's jacket, like a doorman running to the party in his fit after work. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the vibe I'm getting for sure. Look 17 here, we get this asymmetric leopard print feathery dress. He talked about the dress in particular in the interview, saying something like it's pushing the lines of costume. I enjoy the flamboyance though. Look 17 isn't too memorable, but the handkerchief is really nice. Cheetah print handkerchief accompanying me during a night of partying in Europe doesn't sound too bad. Look 19, this dual bow is killing me. They literally get couture for ready to wear. The t-shirts and hoodies are never going to be enough. Onwards to look 20, I was blown away. One of my favorite things in fashion is when a designer takes the challenge of sculpting something good using a circle on the human body. I recently saw Phoebe Philo's cape jacket and fell in love immediately, and I also wanted to snipe the Margiela North Face jacket, the Margiela North Face circle jacket, for so long when I first found out it exists. JACQUEMUS did a fun thing here with how the arms form out of the circle. Look 21 is cool. I like the printing that's going on with the fabric and the handkerchief again. Look 22, if you look closely, I believe these are fish printed onto the dress, which would be a humorous addition if I'm correct. The dress overall is cool. The footwear honestly is what's getting me this collection. We see the opposing side strap heels again. Look 23 I'm enjoying a lot actually. I can't fully make out what the print is on the lining for the overcoat, but it almost seems like palm tree heads to me. Then the tie styling is a unique choice, but it makes you pay attention to the button up below. It seems to have some type of structural integrity with this oval shape going on. Look 24 just seems like another colorway look. I must say though, the 3D-ness of the skirt is beautiful. Being able to design for when a piece is actively being worn is a flex. We jump into look 25, and this is where my modern pet peeve comes with runways. Another colorway look. Like damn, if you want to show colorways, then do it like Claude Montana, where she send groups of girls wearing basically the same or slightly the same outfits to represent the choices as so. Having the looks bounce between something new and exciting to a colorway is just bad show progression, at least in my eyes. Look 27 with the ruffle dress, I enjoy it. The next look that really catches my eyes though is look 29. The blue and black play off of each other really quite nicely, with these deeper green shoes kind of zipping it all together. The rematerializing of the jacket in look 30 is insane. The suede looks very high quality. Look 37 and 38, we see new jackets come into play. Not really my taste, but I do enjoy the open neckline. Look 39 and look 40 with the fur play, while I kind of look like the couple going half and half on the fit, you feel me? We see this humorous sheep bag as well. I love an experimental bag. They're just as functional as a regular one with more flavor and personality. On look 44, how do you guys feel about the high-rise shorts on these guys? I remember it kind of being a funny turn in style when like I was in high school and I was seeing athletes cropping their clothes more and more by the semester. At some point a conversation was held like, why are y'all niggas shorts so damn high? And you cropping the uniform on the field game? Like what's going on? Come on. But I'm not against it in all seriousness. It's just funny to see. There's dresses in the middle of these looks. I feel the midway looks don't deserve much attention. There isn't much to say really. Look 48 is where we get like literal I just woke up from the party look. I feel like this look would do well in any type of sunny location, or like beach vibes if you have a hat and a bag. And as we come to the more tail end of the collection, I feel like we're getting the looks of people who really came to party, if that makes sense. It's a lot more extravagance, like look 49, 50, and 54. Look 56, we get this confetti motif that I'm enjoying as well. More nudity, flying ties, the confetti comes back as feathers, and as we come to close it all out, there's a model walking, covering her breast with a wine glass by her hand. And this is a reference to a painting JACQUEMUS had on his mood board apparently. Now, as for my closing thoughts on the runway, I liked it. It sent me down a deep research trip, and the referencing was healthy, but it wasn't what you needed to understand to enjoy the show. His sculptural abilities are quite prevalent, and he balanced color use with the black quite well. Seeing this as an off-route from the kingdom that is Comme des Garçons opened my eyes up for interpretation as well. Often when I'm watching Ray's shows, they come off as just too fantasy, and seeing how her world impacted works like this makes me want to go and understand more. The runway literally felt like I was watching a group of people at a party or going to a party, so we hit the nail on the head there. But I seriously hope fashion as a whole stops sending 5 colorways of an outfit down the runway. Just choose 1, maybe 2. If the collection stayed around 40 looks, it would have been perfect for me. What were your guys' thoughts on the show? Any parts that I missed out or you felt deserve more attention? Let me know down in the comments below, and let's get into this UK and Atlanta underground rap. So Young EMAN, if you don't know, is an artist reigning from the UK, and I found him off this song that blew up recently called Pop Star in the Bits. His sound is so loud and abrasive, but in a wavy way. His recent song Paris, he was rapping in multiple languages and it was still flowing. There was this funny comment that said he's at the point in his rap career where he can go to Paris and record a video, which was type funny, I'm not gonna lie. He also seemingly produces some of his own music. It says Prod Me here, so I'm not gonna lie, that's also a flex. Unless he has like squads of producers that are just basically dropshipping him the swag like Pac-Boy Max and other producers have. Something I want to point out is how easy it is to record an underground music video. You literally overlay some text from a Photoshop file, do a little
make beats and shit. I'll come over and be like, hold on, P, let me do it right here.
and you in there, like no cap. Go check out this new song. It's low-key heat. Next is Baby Stay Down and his song Bigger. It came out 2 weeks ago, so I'm low-key late to the song. Baby Stay Down represents the other side of underground rap. I see it split into like 2 sides. You get the more artistically inclined underground rappers, and you have the more historical sense of an underground rapper, being this more thugged out, not really here for the games, just makes a lot of hood music rapper. There's this whole other side to this shit, and it stays there, or he stays over there. There was a vlog of him backstage before a show, and Jesus and 9 Vicious were there, and you can just kind of tell these 2 sides don't necessarily mix. It's niggas yelling out FN and OA, then there's like 6 dudes, skinnies and North Face now with red bandanas by the wall. Both sides are completely capable of making good music. I just see the side that Baby Stay Down is on as closer to like a young boy or Lil Baby come up, as opposed to him having something like Slay World per se. Speaking of Slay World, that new SUMMRS, yes sir. There's a comment along the lines of 15 songs of this and it's over, and I'm not gonna lie, he true. A lot of people are also realizing they've been SUMMRS fans for around 7 to 10 years now. He's getting a lot of props from his fans for being able to stay original for all this time. SUMMRS is always able to do this thing with his music where you keep coming back to the flows and sounds he makes and appreciating them more and more. The first 2 times I listened, it was a bit iffy, then I caught myself listening to it on repeat later that same night. He ain't dropping an album in like 3 years, I think. I'm hoping this next project comes just as strong as this song, because if so, it'd be a season of straight heat. I still go back and listen to what we have every quarter, front to back, because it's just that good. But this wraps up my recap of what's been happening in fashion and music recently. Let me know how you guys feel about the JACQUEMUS collection, the new music we got. Are we disliking it, enjoying it all? How are y'all feeling? This is Aaron's Mason. Thank you for watching, and peace out.